Hey everyone, how is everyone doing? I thought I'll do a little episode, not going to be too long today, on motivation, the truths behind motivation. Does it exist? Not my experience in motivation, just sorting out the whys here. Um, and what I think actually could be better tips than actually just trying to find motivation. Because guess what? You may be motivated for 2 days and then boom, it goes. And yeah, and surprisingly, that's normal. That's for everyone. Motivation isn't going to be here to stick around all the time, no matter what you're doing and no matter how amazing it feels at the beginning. There's going to be a time where actually just doesn't exist. You wake up in the morning, you plan to do a gym workout, and you're like, nah, I'm not going to go. Or you plan to eat a bit healthier, and something else happens, and you're like, nah, not going to go. And you start judging yourself for these things when actually it's just a human instinct, really, just to not be motivated. And I'm thinking, well, you're probably thinking, well, how can I achieve my goal then if I'm not motivated? And guess what? You can't look for motivation all the time. So I'm going to tell you three things, and these three things have come from my personal experience growing up with my fitness goals. For example, when I did the London Marathon, I was so determined for the why I was doing the London Marathon, raising money for charity, being the third youngest to run. That isn't a fact, but there was an article on two people younger than me. So I thought, well, my birthday was 3 weeks after I was 18. I was 18, but marathon, I was 18 and 3 weeks old. So surely no one's going to be younger than me. So I had this third. That's just pointless for stats, but actually it's a proud stat on my CV. And the why of making family proud and achieving goal and all these things helped me through my training. So when I had tough days, when I had tough runs, when I wasn't motivated, the whys were so helpful. And also that there's also other occasions where I set a goal out and there was no real why behind it. I didn't really have structure. And I kind of, when I wasn't achieving it and I wasn't being as disciplined, I kind of went off track and I felt guilty for doing it and I felt bad for doing it and I was judging myself for doing it. When actually, maybe the reason behind the goal wasn't a real why, there wasn't structure. These are things I was just talking about. And so when you look for motivation, when you think, oh, I need motivation for this, it's going to be really challenging. And let me challenge you, actually ask you to think about something else. Let me ask you to think about a few things. One, not ask you to have a look at these things, do these two things. Uh, One is have a deep goal. If you want to lose 10 pounds, why do you want to lose 10 pounds? Like, if you want to gain muscle, why do you want to gain muscle? If you want to strength train, why do you want to strength train? If you want to fit in that dress, why do you want to fit in that dress? And let's say, what's the why? Maybe you want to feel healthier. Maybe you want to fit in clothes. Maybe you want to play with your children, have more energy. Maybe you want to live longer. Maybe when you're 60, 70, 80, you're not you got muscle on your body so that you're not limping over and you've got strength to lift yourself off a chair. These are amazing whys. And that's a real element. Have a deeper goal than just I want to lose 10 pounds, I want to lose 20 pounds because I want to impress someone I don't even like. Like, how when times get tough, of course you're not going to be motivated for that because it's not a real reason goal. So have a little deep think about when you set out your next goal, or if you're on your journey right now. If you don't really have something, that's fine, but have a little think. Even if it's so basic, like feeling healthier, I want to feel healthier and confident in my skin, or whatever that may be. So that when you do have those tough days, when you wake up and you plan to do a workout and it kind of reminds you, actually, that's going to help me with this. Because there will be days where actually having that off day is actually fine. You're human. As long as you're being consistent over a period of time, that's amazing. There'll be days where you wake up and actually going for not doing workout will probably make you feel better. So that's completely okay when you have those days where you don't do anything, but over a period of time, being consistent, you're doing the workouts, you're doing the goals you set to do, and so on, being consistent over time. So that's the real reason why. So find a deep goal. That's number one. Number two is build habits around your weakness. Now, this was a huge game changer for myself. And one of the biggest things which I did, it's not the most tidy thing, but it worked very well. I like to do my workouts in the morning. I find I can stay consistent in my morning workouts. So guess what I did? Before I went to bed, I made sure that my gym clothes were ready. They were next to my bed so that literally I could get out of bed, put my gym clothes on, change, out the door, because the effort of you going to the clothes, getting the clothes, selecting your outfits, picking out the socks. Oh, that I've only got a single. I've got a max of socks. All those type of things. It's just waste of energy. Where actually, if you got everything up, it takes 2 seconds. So not 2 seconds to change, but the thinking you're not wasting energy because it's there. You get change and you're up and out. So that's something. Think about what your weaknesses are when you think about when you're not motivated to maybe nutrition, maybe run. Nutrition wise, let's say your weakness is nutrition, and maybe you could think about, well, if I plan my meals for 2 days, or if I had made a bigger meal on Sunday, that means on Monday and Tuesday, I got a meal already sorted. And that's going to decrease the chances of me getting a takeout or something. Think about building habits. So I'd recommend reading the Atomic Habits book by James. I bet people listening to this right now know the surname. I've completely forgotten the surname. So you've probably I said James, and you've probably finished the surname. So remind me of who author. I know it. It's somewhere in my house. I need to get the surname. It'll probably come to me later in the podcast. I'll be boom, second name, got it. But think about it. Think about your weaknesses. If it's nutrition, if it's let's say running exactly the same situation. If you plan to do a morning run, gym clothes the night before and everything, and maybe even think about the night before of what your warm-up's going to be. If it's going to be walking outside for 10 minutes before you run, is it going to be warming up in your bedroom? If you're walking up and down the stairs to warm up, think about your weaknesses and build a habit around it. And that really helped me, especially going to gym in the morning. It helped me during my university years many years ago when I wanted to meal prep. I didn't really want to cook every single night, and it was just I was lazy, and I'll get something quick and easy from Tesco. When I meal prepped, and it's not really crazy. I literally just made a bigger bunch of food on Sunday, and I had 2-3 meals extra, which really, really helped me with so many things. However, that was me as a student. If you're a parent, it's very different. So think about your weaknesses, build habits around it. And lastly, and probably most importantly, is stop judging yourself when you go off track, or not off track, when you don't have those good days. And actually, even though you've tried everything, you've had the gym clothes ready, you've everything was like perfect, and your body wasn't feeling it. Don't judge yourself when you have those off days. Just ensure that you are consistent over a period of time, and that's more enough than you can do. Unless you are a Usain Bolt where you're training for the Olympics, unless you are a professional bodybuilder training to be on your first show, unless you are a professional marathon runner, if I was speaking to them right now, maybe that's not the advice, but that's not your job, is it? Your job isn't to wake up doing marathons every day. This has to be realistic. If you have a tough day and let's say a meeting, something happens in the meeting, let's say something happened with the family and you can't do that workout, you can't do that meal prep, and you feel naturally guilty. There's no need to feel guilty as long as you're trying to stay consistent over a period of time. And if you build consistency and you don't judge yourself, you will make progress. And that's the most important thing. So with these 3 things, finding a deeper goal, such as what's the real why, not just don't tell me I want to lose 10 pounds. Don't say I want to run. I want to run 5K. What's the why behind it? I want to get fitter. I want to get stronger. Amazing. I want to play with children. I want to have more energy to play with my children. All these things. Find a deeper goal. 2, build habits around your weaknesses. Think about when you are not motivated, what's the reason behind it? Have a deep think about it. Try and make 1 or 2 changes right now, what you could do. Think about, that could help me, and actually implement it. That's the challenging part, implementing what you said. And lastly, it's not judging yourself if you're not able to do that. You are human. You are human. These things happen. If you stay consistent over a period of time, you'll find ways around it and you'll make progress. It's very common to, if you go off track, you quit, you give up because you think it's not working. That's not going to help you, is it? So think about being consistent, stop over judging yourself. And that's the the pie, the cake of motivation. There is no motivation. You're going to have motivation for a few days. Amazing. Enjoy it. When you have those days, when you have those ups and downs, like roller coaster, when it's on that low days, and you're like, oh, where's motivation gone? Guess what? Everyone has it. Bit of tough love, deal with it. But with these three things I mentioned before, you're going to be able to get through those tough days. And that's where you build that discipline. That's when you build those habits. That's when you get up in the morning, go for a workout without even you thinking about it, because it's just a natural instinct. And that's where the hard work comes in. So it isn't easy. It's never easy. But once you stay consistent, once you build that discipline, build those habits, then instead of if we're looking for motivation, you're living it. It's just natural life. So those are the three ways to help yourself when you haven't got the motivation. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to you listening to me to the next episode. Speak soon.